Leading our first presentation is Jing Wang, co-investigator and research staff at the Human Health and Performance Systems Group at MIT Lincoln Laboratory. She will be presenting findings from an MIT Lincoln Laboratory study on identifying technology gaps in order to enhance military service women's readiness and lethality. Please give a warm welcome to Jing Wang.
My name is Jing Wang. I'm a researcher working for the Human Health and Performance Systems Group at MIT Lincoln Laboratory. My background is in biomedical engineering. For this presentation, I'd like to tell you about our study on identifying technology gaps to enhance military women's health, readiness, and lethality. This study was mentioned at last year's symposium. A lot of progress has been made, and I'm here to share our results on behalf of our team. Our team consists of Dr. Brian Baum, Dr. Zelda Buyukos-Turk, Dr. Kristen DeWild, and myself. It is our hope that our findings can be useful for highlighting some research opportunities and technology gaps to improve the quality of life for military women and possibly help with generating requirements and shaping related policies. Last year, MIT Lincoln Lab co-hosted this symposium with the Valkyrie Project. It was a wonderful experience for many Lincoln staff who attended. Women's health in the military is critical for national security. MIT Lincoln Lab develops technologies in support of national security. Inspired by the symposium, some of Lincoln staff got together last year. We applied and received Lincoln Lab's internal research funding to answer the question, what technologies could MIT Lincoln Lab develop in support of women's health? In order to identify unmet needs for women in the military, we need to take a holistic view at the problem. Per one of the guiding principles from the Defense Health Board, initiatives to improve women's health should proactively employ a life cycle perspective, begins at recruitment and then extends to retirement or separation. The needs for each woman can be vastly different because they are at a different age, career stage, may have different health or medical conditions and social obligations. On the left of the chart, we outline the multidimensionality of the problem space. While recognizing that each woman's story is unique, we strive to draw some general themes and a high-impact technology space for the research community to tackle. With such a broad problem space, it was incredibly important to get input from end users and hear from them their problems directly. Fortunately, we had access to a robust network of women warfighters across all branches of service. This is a network that's enthusiastic to talk about issues impacting them and their ability to successfully carry out the mission. Their perspectives will be heard throughout this presentation. Each of these groups are willing participants in finding solutions and getting them fielded as soon as possible. We broadly binned our problem space in the following 4 categories: physical health, mental health, uniforms and gear fitment, and performance. Data and data equity is an issue that spans across multiple areas given the underrepresentation of female subjects in research, so I will now present findings for each of the 4 areas. A broad range of physical health issues came up during interviews and discussions. Some of the most frequently mentioned are shown on the left. The issues surfaced from our interviews are consistent with the literature search results as shown on the right. In the interest of time, I will only highlight some on this list. One frequently discussed issue is the lack of clear understanding of hormonal trends of female tactical athletes. Such information can help inform training strategies and medical needs. Currently, the gold standard for measuring hormonal trends is via blood draws. There are no commercial-grade sensors for measuring hormonal trends continuously and non-invasively that we are aware of. In addition to lack of non-invasive continuous monitoring sensors, lack of access of existing data to the research community is a broader issue I'd like to highlight today. For example, a large portion of female recruits suffer from menstrual dysregulation due to the arduous retraining regimen. Some women choose birth control or menstrual suppression methods to cope. The long-term effects of these choices on their physical and mental health are not well investigated due to lack of data access to the research community. Other health topics include pregnancy, perimenopause, and menopause all have unique challenges of military women as well. There has been insufficient data in the research to provide informed guidelines on issues such as best practices for return to duty after pregnancy or perimenopause care. Looking across the list, there are two main areas where technology may help address. First is to build research tools to enable better understanding of unique health trends and issues faced by military women. Second is to develop sensors for continuous monitoring of biochemical changes to improve understanding of impact of military life on women's health. One example research tool that research institutions such as MIT Lincoln Lab can help with is developing a unified de-identified database for researchers and epidemiologists to investigate issues pertaining to military women's health. Currently, the Armed Forces Health Surveillance Division, or AFHSD, is the central epidemiologic health resource for the U.S. military. AFHSD utilizes the Defense Medical Surveillance System, or DMSS, to document military and medical experience of service members throughout their career. As the central repository of medical surveillance data for the U.S. Armed Forces, DMSS contains up-to-date and historical data on diseases and medical events, for example, hospitalization, ambulatory visits, reportable medical events, HIV tests, and casualty data, and also longitudinal data on personnel and deployments. AFHSD routinely publishes summaries of notifiable diseases, trends of illnesses of special surveillance interest, and field reports describing outbreaks and case occurrences in the Medical Surveillance Monthly Report. Such a database is only accessible to authorized personnel for obvious national security reasons and privacy concerns. However, it does prevent the broader research community from contributing to efforts such as developing forecasting models and early warning systems for potential occupational risk. If we can take a subset of data to build a unified and de-identified database that is safe for the broader research community to use, it can really enable and accelerate research on military women's health. A second technology area is building continuous health monitoring sensors to track hormone fluctuation levels. Currently, there lacks tools for continuous monitoring of hormones non-invasively. Hormone levels are informative metrics for understanding and diagnosing women's health throughout the reproductive life cycle, ranging from menstrual dysregulation to pregnancy, infertility, perimenopause, menopause, so forth. As mentioned previously, the Defense Health Board guideline urges us to examine military women's health via a life cycle perspective. A continuous hormone monitoring sensor can be a foundational technology for understanding and tracking various female health conditions across life stages. As shown on the figure depicted by Dr. Selda Buyukos-Turk, to the right, an ideal hormone sensor can provide longitudinal patterns to inform diagnosis and improve understanding of the physical conditions of concern. Now, switching gears to mental health area. Recent studies have found that active duty service women are twice as likely to be diagnosed of a set of mental health conditions compared to their male counterparts. This is especially true for commonly observed conditions such as adjustment disorder, anxiety, major depressive disorder, and PTSD. To the left, I list some of the major issues we gathered from interviews and publications, which may be some of the key driving factors behind the statistics that we see on the right. Military sexual trauma affects an estimate of 24.7% of active duty women compared to under 6% of male counterparts. At least 26% of these women who reported incident experienced retaliation. Military culture and structural barriers is another major stressor, often being the only woman in their unit with little peer support, and having to speak up for oneself can wear down a person and build up unnecessary stress and anxiety over time. Physical changes such as pregnancy, perimenopause, menopause, chronic pain are additional stressors. So here we list some topic areas that have been identified as gaps in military women's mental health care. For screening and intervention, there's a need for some more objective, easy-to-access tools to help with improving screening accuracy, accessibility, and enabling early intervention. A great example of a technology-assisted intervention tool is a VA-developed phone app for women who experience military sexual trauma. We need more tools like this to improve accessibility to mental health care for all the other conditions commonly experienced by military women. Better telemedicine technology is another way to improve accessibility, especially for military women who live in rural communities or suffer from domestic or intimate partner violence. Sex-specific treatment and rehabilitation protocols, training materials, and in general, better understanding of mental health risks at various reproductive life stages are other gap areas we have identified. So here are some technology development opportunities based on aforementioned gap areas. For screening, MIT Lincoln Lab have been developing technologies for detecting signs of PTSD and depression through voice. We're also hoping to extend to other modalities using tablets and wearables. We're also interested in incorporating brain activity patterns to help understand the neurophysiology behind some of these mental health conditions. Other ideas we have include collaborating with universities and leveraging the latest research on on-body sweat or saliva-based sensors for tracking stress, using virtual reality technology to develop treatment protocols for conditions such as PTSD. Under the uniforms and gear topic area, there were a number of standing issues and unmet needs we heard a lot in our interviews as well. First issue is poor uniforms and gear fitment, which can lead to distractions, discomfort, and create physical blocks that degrade performance. As part of this study, Dr. Brian Baum has identified some technology development areas to assist with optimizing fitment. One area is to leverage body scans to create designs and manufacturing pipelines that are tailored to different anthropometric variations. Another area is to further develop modular armors to improve adaptability. Another overwhelming unmet need is an effective, discrete female urination device. It is a surprise finding. It deserves more attention from both the research and the commercial R&D communities to help solve this problem. Under the performance area, we also identify a number of unmet needs in our study. In the interest of time, I will just highlight a couple. First is regarding the development of machine learning algorithms and models that are used to track performance. Algorithm developers should use sex as a biological variable and ensure their training data set is gender and sex balanced. A second innovation area is on developing sensors in the wearables to better track musculoskeletal injury, hormone cycling, and other physiological patterns that have a higher impact on the female sex. If the research community can focus on developing more sex-aware sensors and algorithms, it will enable better understanding of sex differences and in turn help draw clearer insights to how best improving performance and teaming paradigms for everyone. So overall, here's a quick summary of the knowledge gaps and technology development needs for each of the 4 areas we examined. It was a very ambitious scope for covering a diverse set of topics and technology domain. Just to recap, the bottom of the slide highlights some of the technologies mentioned, such as a unified medical database to enable efficient epidemiological analysis, biosensors for continuous tracking of hormones, objective mental health screening tools, modular and adaptable gear, more discrete urination device, and the sex-specific performance algorithms and models. As we can see, there's still a lot of research and technology innovation to be done to meet the needs of military women. We hope someday this image will no longer look like a science fiction. We developed a moonshot concept of what an ideal military women's uniform and gear can be like based on early-stage research exists today, such as smart fabrics, biosensors, AI agent. We are eager to hear your thoughts on the ideas we presented. Dr. Zelda Bukosterk in the audience, she's waving. Both her and I will be around after session. Please come and find us if you have thoughts to share. Lastly, we would like to acknowledge our leadership and thank them for funding and support for this effort. And also thank you all for listening and for the opportunity to present our study today. Thank you.